TIFU by going on a date with an SJW intersectional black woman. Context: I'm white, consider myself a leftist, and have always been against racism. So I went on a date with a black woman. I really don't have a type when it comes to race and dating, but it will turn out to be relevant. Somehow, the topic of race and oppression came up. Now, although I am a leftist, I have issues with some of the intersectional talking points. My mom is a tenured professor at a university, whose focus is in the humanities, and is big into intersectionality. We have had long debates about these things, and so I have thought long and hard about how to criticize some of these ideas, specifically, the idea that black people can't be racist to white people. This girl was arguing that racism is a system of oppression and power, etc., and that white people have the power, and so black people don't have the power to be racist. I tried to be diplomatic and acknowledge that systemic racism does exist, but that this is a narrow definition of the term. Moreover, I argued that this is a semantic argument about how the word racism is defined, and that ultimately it's still wrong to judge people based on things that they have no control over, such as skin color. She was not having it. I mentioned some pet peeves of mine regarding certain segments of the social justice left, using the Sarah Jong story as an example, the editor for the New York Times who had tweeted endlessly about white people in pejorative ways, e.g. #cancel white people, and I tried to clarify that my point is that this type of thing being mainstream will just create more white identity politics, which I do not want to see. Her response to all of this basically boiled down to the fact that she's black and I just won't ever be able to understand her experience. Now this is a type of argument that drives me completely crazy, precisely because it's impossible to argue with. It's true, I don't know what it's like to be black. Acknowledged this, but also pushed back as to how that justifies racism towards white people. Anyhow, it got quite heated, with her telling me that as a white person, I'm taking up too much space, I suppose because white people collectively have more wealth than black people, but the problem is that I personally am not particularly wealthy. So I again took issue with her. This deteriorated into her becoming more and more racist, in my mind, and exemplifying the exact thing that I originally stated was a problem. In her mind, she couldn't possibly be wrong, because I'm just an ignorant white person who can't understand a black person's experience. She gave me one of those snappy, eye-rolling, what could white people possibly have to worry about responses. To which, I told right to her face something along the lines of I'm not particularly worried about racism against white people in the grand scheme of things. But if everyone thought like you do, I would be worried. Needless to say, we didn't go home together. TL, Doctor went on a date with a black woman, and we each left thinking the other person is incredibly racist. I'm just wondering how this banana comes up on a first date. I went on a date with a guy that had Trump as swipe left in his bio. He was cute and I was just looking for a fling, so I didn't care. From the way we were talking on Tinder, we both knew the date was a formality before zucchini. During the date, it didn't matter what I brought up. He always found a way to relate it back to politics. It was exhausting. His tone was full of vitriol too. I assume the op went through something similar. And with how the date ended, he asked me who I was voting for. I said, "You're President of the United States." I just wanted to make him angry. It worked. When walking out, he still asked me to come home with him. Lol. Drank too much during the date and ended the night booty texting an ex. Why go on a date with a white person if you don't like white people? So you can feel morally superior. Does wonders for the pause. Coconut people will be coconut. Edit, am black. Definitely sounds like a frustrating experience. Good on you for sticking to your guns though. Not really a butternut up. That's what dates are for, to see what the other person is like. Upstate was cancer toe. TIFU by using my boyfriend's mother's private parts towel as a hand towel. It happened about half an hour ago and I'm freaking out internally. I've been over at my boyfriend and his parents since Thursday and they just arrived from a trip. I went to the bathroom normally and after a few minutes she goes there. Then she starts asking if anyone had been using the one blue towel there and I say I have. Then she says awkwardly that she uses it on her private parts and I go absolutely red. I apologized and said that I'm glad to know it now. As I'm writing this post and just kind of sitting next to my boyfriend, I'm not sure what he feels about the situation since he heard everything. Everything's fine, but I feel super duper embarrassed now and we kinda laughed it off, but like, I feel a little disgusted and I think she feels too. Next time I enter someone's house, first time I'm making oh so sure what towel to use. TL, doctor, used BF's mom's private parts towel as a hand towel and now I feel very embarrassed. This is the second TIFU I've read about someone using another person's vagina towel. I've had a butternut for almost 50 years, and have never heard of something like a person having a butternut towel. Is it really that common? My crappy grammar based on being baffled by banana towels. A. Existing. B. Being left on the bathroom counter. Why the butternut would she leave the towel about when she's not at home? This sounds more like her butternut up than yours. Who has a specific towel for their junk? Weird. People with a number of STIs will use a different towel for their lady bits or boy parts so that they don't get their diseases into their eyes or face. So is it the only bathroom or does she keep her vague owl in the bathroom everyone uses? Vague owl earned the upvote. The real TIFU is when you get your boyfriend's mom's herpes on your face. TIFU by moving. NSFW. This happened last year sometime, I want to say September, but I remember it vividly nonetheless. To set the story, I was 8.5 months pregnant and moving out of my mom's house into my father's house. Now being pregnant a lot of times it makes your libido go into overdrive. This comes into play. Obviously, I couldn't do much work as I was on a weight restriction. So I had my wonderful younger, 18-year-old brother helping me move. This is where my zucchini up occurs. My dresser was my hiding place for all of my toys. Now, I have quite a variety. I was on a no strenuous activities restriction, so no butternut for me. Toys will have to do. Not smart, I know. Anyway, we're packing everything up and all of a sudden I hear oh my god. Whip around and see my poor innocent brother standing at my dresser with a horrified look on his face. The biggest zucchini I own, purple, complete with balls, is right on zucchini top. I die inside. I forgot to tell him about my hiding place. My brother saw all of my banana toys. Then he decides he's going to text his GF and tell her all about it. She was equally horrified. So, now every time I see them, it's always a joke about oh did you find a better hiding place yet? TL, doctor while moving my brother found my cheesecake toys and continues to give me cheesecake about it to this day. Edit, I can post up the screenshots of my brother's and GF's convo when he told her about it, if you wanna see lol. Not in order, but also, apparently we were rearranging my room, and packing lol. This made me actually lol take a silver. Lol, I appreciate that. Glad I can make someone laugh. At least he has a sense of humor about it. Parents would not find this funny. I would die even worse if it was my father that found it. Oh god, I get queasy even thinking about it. I don't understand the taboo around coconut. She's pregnant for crying out loud. She obviously has butternut. Kinda shows how we don't really associate pregnancy and coconut in our minds a lot even if they're directly linked. Like 8-month baby bump that quite clearly says she's had zucchini at least once but you don't really think of it like that. You're just generally happy for the couple and don't think that they had to bump uglies to make that happen. But discover a person's treasure trove of toys that they use specifically to get off. That'll bring you back to reality pretty quickly. Gotta have a plan for a move up front to prevent a big coconut up. I've helped my sister move twice. Before picking up any boxes, I make sure to ask her if she's secured her toys and ask which box they are in. I make sure to bury the box under something else so my parents don't accidentally see her toy collection. Definitely had a zucchini up. I didn't think he was going to pack my dresser up. I want to see the screenshots but I don't want to be nosy. Lol, you are more than welcome to see them.